Mira's Big Adventure. A tale of courage. In a cozy little hole beneath the roots of an old oak tree lived a tiny mouse named Mira. She had soft gray fur, bright black eyes, and the tiniest whiskers you've ever seen. Mira loved her snug home and spent her days nibbling on acorns and playing with her family. But there was one thing about Mira that made her different from the other mice. She was afraid of everything outside her burrow. The rustling leaves made her shiver, the hooting owls made her tremble, and even the thought of venturing beyond the old oak tree filled her with dread. One day, Mira's younger brother Pip came scurrying into their home, his eyes wide with excitement. "Mira, Mira," he squeaked, "I found the most amazing thing. You have to come and see." Mira's whiskers twitched nervously. "Oh, I don't know, Pip. What if it's dangerous?" "It's not dangerous," Pip assured her. "It's beautiful. Please come, just this once." Mira hesitated, her little heart racing. She wanted to be brave like Pip, but the idea of leaving her safe home terrified her. Finally, she took a deep breath and nodded. "Okay, Pip, I'll go, but only for a little while." Pip beamed with joy and took Mira's paw, leading her out of their burrow. Mira squinted as the bright sunlight hit her eyes. The world outside seemed so big and scary. Every sound made her jump, and every shadow looked like a lurking predator. "It's just over here," Pip said, tugging Mira along. They scurried through the grass, which felt like a jungle to the tiny mice. Mira's legs trembled with each step, but she kept going, not wanting to disappoint her brother. Suddenly, a loud caw filled the air. Mira froze in terror as a large crow landed nearby. "Pip," she whispered urgently, "we have to go back. That crow might eat us." But Pip just giggled. "Don't worry, Mira." Watch this. To Mira's astonishment, Pip marched right up to the crow and squeaked, "Hello, Mr. Blackfeather." The crow tilted his head and looked down at the tiny mouse. "Well, if it isn't little Pip. And who's your friend?" Mira couldn't believe her eyes or ears. The crow wasn't trying to eat them at all. In fact, he seemed quite friendly. Gathering all her courage, she stepped forward and squeaked in a tiny voice, I'm Mira, Pip's sister." Mr. Blackfeather gave a gentle caw of laughter. "Nice to meet you, Mira. Any friend of Pip's is a friend of mine." As they chatted with Mr. Blackfeather, Mira began to relax. She realized that not everything outside her burrow was as scary as she had imagined. Maybe, just maybe, the world was full of potential friends rather than just dangers. After saying goodbye to Mr. Blackfeather, Pip led Mira to a small clearing. "Look," he exclaimed, pointing with his tiny paw. Mira gasped in wonder. In the middle of the clearing stood the most beautiful flower she had ever seen. Its petals were a vibrant purple, and they seemed to shimmer in the sunlight. The flower was easily 5 times taller than Mira, and she felt a mixture of awe and fear as she gazed up at it. "Isn't it amazing?" Pip asked, his eyes shining. Mira nodded, unable to speak. She had never imagined that something so beautiful existed outside her cozy burrow. As she stared at the flower, she felt a strange new feeling growing inside her, a desire to explore and see more of this wonderful world. Just then, a gentle breeze rustled the grass around them. Mira, who would have once been terrified by such a sound, now found it soothing. She closed her eyes and let the wind ruffle her fur, enjoying the new sensation. Their peaceful moment was interrupted by a frightened squeak. Mira and Pip turned to see a young rabbit hopping frantically towards them. "Help!" the rabbit cried. "My little sister is stuck in a thorn bush, and I can't get her out." Pip immediately volunteered to help, but Mira hesitated. The thought of venturing even further from home made her nervous. But then she remembered how she had faced her fears today, and met Mr. Blackfeather and seen the beautiful flower. Taking a deep breath, she squeaked, "I'll help too." The rabbit led them to a thick thorn bush where a tiny bunny was trapped, crying softly. The thorns were too close together for the larger rabbit to reach in, but Mira realized that she and Pip were just the right size to help. "Don't worry," Mira said to the little bunny, surprising herself with her newfound confidence. "We'll get you out." Carefully, Mira and Pip navigated through the thorns. It was tricky, and Mira got a few scratches, but she didn't let that stop her. Finally, they reached the little bunny and helped guide her out of the bush to safety. The older rabbit was overjoyed. "Thank you so much," she said, nuzzling her little sister. "You mice are so brave." Brave. The word echoed in Mira's mind. She had never thought of herself as brave before, but now she realized that courage wasn't about not being scared. It was about doing what needed to be done even when you were afraid. As the sun began to set, Mira and Pip said goodbye to their new rabbit friends and headed home. Mira's paws ached from all the walking, and her fur was a bit messy from the adventure, but her heart was full of excitement and pride. When they reached their burrow, their parents were waiting, worried about where they had been all day. But as Mira and Pip told them about their adventure meeting Mr. Blackfeather, seeing the beautiful flower, and helping the little bunny, their parents' concern turned to pride. "Oh, Mira," her mother said, giving her a warm hug, "I always knew you had courage inside you. You just needed to believe in yourself." That night, as Mira snuggled into her cozy bed of moss and leaves, she felt different. The world outside no longer seemed so scary. Instead, it felt full of wonders waiting to be discovered and new friends to be made. As she drifted off to sleep, Mira decided that tomorrow she would ask Pip to show her more of the world. She knew there would still be times when she felt afraid, but now she also knew that she had the courage to face those fears. And so, the little mouse who was once afraid of everything fell asleep with a smile on her face, dreaming of the adventures to come. The end.